Hey everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of Secrets to Real Estate Investing. Today we have with us a gentleman in my same state, which doesn't always happen, so that's kind of fun. And he is tearing it up as a wholesaler. I'm really excited to welcome to the show today, Tony Escobedo. Welcome, Tony.
It's good to be here.
Thanks for coming and sharing some of your experience and knowledge with our listeners today. I'm so excited for them to learn from you and about you. So why don't you start? What's that?
Going off. There's fireworks. There's
yeah.
trumpets. No, it's good to be here, Holly. It's awesome.
Well, why don't you give our listeners a background on you, how you got to where you are today, and how you got into real estate investing? Take it away.
Okay. Gosh, I started in 8 years ago. I mean, I guess really 9 years ago. I was just sitting around and one night, miserable at home, unhappy, was having problems in my marriage. It was like I was miserable at my job. I was selling janitorial franchises. And the best job I ever had at first, it was heaven, then it was purgatory, then it was hell. And it was just like, the economy had crashed, and I was salary and commission, and then it was just commission. And then it was just like a small company. So they made all the mistakes that you could make, and like I had no control. It was horrible. So I was watching TV and I saw this guy on TV named Dean Graziosi. This guy with glasses, this dark, short guy with glasses, dark hair, and he spoke to me though. And I just believed him, I thought, wow, you know what? I think this is the real deal. I'll buy the books, $20 for 2 books.
So what was he selling?
Yeah, he was selling his 2 books, Profit from Real Estate Now. And what was the other one? Be a Real Estate Millionaire.
Okay, so it's all about real estate investing then. Because not everybody's heard of Dean Graziosi. So that's why I just wanted to make sure.
Right. I mean, he's been on TV for 20 years, I guess. And is what he told us. And but I found him, 10 years ago. And then I just believed him, I got the books. They sat in my closet, they're New York Times bestsellers. So, I did read them slowly for, it took a month or so. And then I read them. And then 2010 came along. And that's really when I got started. I went to this conference, this boots on the ground through him. And I just went in and actually I snuck in to the boots on the ground. I found out where it was going to be and I snuck in. I snuck in. I didn't have a lot of money, and I paid $1,000 for the coaching. I mean, I was just blessed because thankfully Dean and his company, he sets the tone. They give away more than what they charge for. And I got that coaching for years. I had it for years. It's only supposed to be for a year, but they're just so nice. They're so odd. They're all in Utah. It's like they used to be called PMI. I'm not sure what they're called now. This vendor that partnered with Dean. So anyway, short story long, I read those books, and then in 2010 I quit my job, which was a mistake. I shouldn't have done that. And because then I suffered for several years and just trying to wholesale, and I fell on my face and I made so many mistakes. And finally, I think it was 2012. I tried for a couple of years to do a deal, and I didn't do a deal. And I was feeling quite emotional, and it was heaven and hell, mountaintop experience. I got a deal under contract. This is awesome. All right, here we go. All right. I'm assigning it over to my buyer. I sign it over to my buyer, and then he does his inspection, or she does their inspection, and they go, oh, we need it for less. This isn't going to work. This isn't going to work. Okay, I'll ask for a price reduction. No, you can't get a price reduction, and boom, it was terrible. And then finally, 2012 though, I got my first deal, which was a disaster as well. My first deal was a disaster. That was like a roller coaster ride. It was all screwed up. It was through this agent, and it was really my fault. I just didn't know what I was doing, but I made $1,300 from that.
Well, I think that is a great first deal because I either broke even or lost money on my first deal. Plenty of people have lost. I mean, I have one girlfriend, I think she lost 25 grand on her first deal because it was a Southern California house with big numbers.
Wow.
So to make $1,300 and get an education, which is where you know, you got a lot of value. Like, I mean, we learn from mistakes. I think that wasn't too bad to make $1,300 and get some education and get that first one done, right?
It wasn't too bad, right? I thought it was the end of the world because I co-wholesaled it with one of Dean's like top students, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and but the agent that I had used, you know, was kind of doing his own thing, and then you know, like he listed the deal. He wound up listing it actually, and then but I mean the other lady's buyer did get the deal eventually and then paid her. But I thought it was like, oh my God, I'm gonna go run and hide. I'm gonna go under a rock and hide. I just screwed everything up. That's it. I'm done. You know, it's just like, you know how this business is. You when you're young in the business, you don't know what you're doing, and everything is magnified. But yes, so I did that, and now I've done like 31 deals, you know, later.
Woohoo! Yay! It's
Woo!
awesome. More fireworks, more fireworks. Okay. So that was your first deal. Why don't you tell us about your best deal?
Ooh, well, my best deal was actually with my buddy who's right over there on the couch. He's sitting there, Ryan Moeller. He's visiting, and we've been having a great time, by the way. And he lives in Indiana. But our best deal was a couple of years ago. I can't believe it's already been a couple of years. Or was that last year? Was that last year, Ryan, or a couple of years ago?
Yeah,
A couple of years ago, I think.
about a year and a half ago.
Okay, year and a half ago. And then we each made about it was a $40,000 profit, and we split it.
Sweet. And that's on a
Yeah,
wholesale deal, right?
it was a wholesale
This
deal.
is
That was
all
a wholesale
wholesale we're
deal.
talking about,
No,
listeners. So yeah,
just
that's a pretty dang good wholesale fee.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that was the best deal off market. It was actually his one of his buyers' relatives that it was all funky too. That took forever. I thought it was a dead deal, but Ryan worked it. I mean, that took about a year. It was like a year later from first he brought it, and we thought it was dead. It was a dead deal because the husband was committed somewhere in an asylum, and it was crazy. Yeah, we had to like, you know, that was Ryan worked it, man. I give it to him. I gave up on it. I was like, forget it. We're done. Let's move on. You know,
So
but
was that in the state of California that we're talking about?
it was
What,
it was Ontario. It was I think it was
Ontario,
a bedroom. I think it was
California?
a 2-bedroom, 1 bath, I think, in Ontario, and we got it for like 170, and ARV on that I think was like 310 or something, 320 or something like that. And it wasn't a lot of square footage. I think it was like 1,000 square feet, less than that even, I think. Nice house, great curb appeal in Ontario, nice neighborhood in Ontario. Yeah, those deals are awesome. You want those deals. You want those deals. So that was the best deal. That was
And
the best.
how did you find that deal? Or how did, I don't know if it was you or
Well,
Ryan?
no, that was Ryan. That was Ryan. Ryan found it through his buyer. His buyer came to him. One of his buyers he's out in Indianapolis is his market. And then his buyer out there said, "Hey, I have it was his wife's relative, cousin,
Oh,
sister, or something, that they lived in Ontario, and he was like, they need to sell their home. The husband is in, you know, it's like, it was a messy situation, you know, like the kid, it was just a big thing, you know, like the kids got taken away, and, you know, it
oh.
was horrible. They're back with their mother now, but it was like terrible, you know, and so
So the source was not a bandit sign,
no,
not a mailer, no pay per click, but my favorite way to get deals, networking. Telling
networking.
people what you do, what you're looking for, and your friends and your relatives. And it paid off to the tune of $40,000. Pretty sweet.
I know, and Ryan stuck with it too. Like I would have been like, which is that, yes, right. Networking is so important, you know. I mean, it's so important for everything, for buyers and for sellers, you know. So that was our best deal, and I give it to Ryan again for sticking with it. And he's a real champ. And so that was the best deal. I mean, the worst deal, I would say. I mean, the worst deal was my first deal, because, like I said, I really felt like, you know, it was just so convoluted. And yes, I made money. You know, it's true. I could have made more. You know, I was like, you know, I just didn't know what I was doing really too much. I trusted my agent too much. You know, and of course they looked out for themselves. They listed the deal. We were just going to like wholesale it and split the profits. You know, co-wholesale it. He
Mm-hmm.
but instead he listed it. You know, went to the sellers. You know, and because they were far away from me. You know. like up in Escondido, and he went. And I'm in downtown San Diego, so that's pretty far, you know. And I don't drive. Obviously, I'm, you know, legally blind, you know. So I have great central vision, you know, but no peripheral, you know. So anyways, that was my worst deal. Yeah.
Okay, so I don't think I knew that about you. I think
Yeah,
that's very important. So you're doing this business without driving, is that right?
I don't drive. Yeah, right. I haven't driven in since '98, I think, and people don't want me driving. Yeah, so I'm like, come on, driverless cars, you know, and love Uber. But no, I'm just right here in my living room, in my, I guess my dining room right here, and I just sit here in my shorts and t-shirts, you know, and I love it. I love my life. I mean, I love life. Love my life. I love how things are going, and this business can be done. You know, you don't have to. You know, it's perfect. Like if you have kids, you're a single mom. This business is perfect for that. You know, you can just be. I mean, because you could just be an acquisitions person. Like we're basically just doing acquisitions now. You know, we just find that they're really just lead managers. Actually, we just have lead managers. We don't put it under contract. We don't go see the property. You know, I mean, we might. If we get it for sale by owner, we just deal with risk right now exclusively. But we're going to add FSBOs, you know, here eventually, pretty soon, you know, in a few months. But for right now, it's just agents. You can work with agents. Half the market, if not more, is through agents, you know. So yeah, I was born legally blind, and I use a cane to get around. And you know, it's like I tell people, you know, hopefully it inspires them. I didn't think, you know. I didn't used to think that, you know, that, you know, I didn't really like, you know, I didn't really enter my mind like that, but I guess it does inspire people, and I'm glad, you know, I hope it does. You know, I mean, if there's hope for me, there's hope for anybody. I mean, geez, anybody.
Well, I now that you mention that, I remember when I think I met you in person at a seminar, Flip Hacking Live. Yeah, and now I think I recall you, but I didn't even remember that about you. I mean, my mind passes over it because you don't look and act like a blind person. So yeah, I mean,
I have a lot of usable vision, you know. Thank God. I'm very high functioning, partially sighted dude.
Right.
You know, I mean, I'm just grateful, you know. Lately I've been having some issues with you know, just this you know, like eye infection, you know, lately, but that's temporary, you know, and I'm grateful, very grateful, you know. Had a little blurriness, but that should go away. And I'm just so, you know, I can read and everything like that. I kind of prefer to listen now because my eyes do get tired, you know. But I type and I'm on the computer. After a couple hours, it's like I got to take a break, you know, or an hour, you know. But anybody can do this, you know. Anybody. I tell everybody, as a matter of fact, I'm in an Uber. My favorite now is when I'm in Ubers. I tell the Uber drivers, I'm like, hey, why don't you just send me addresses of properties that look beat up, empty, you know, and then we'll try to, if we, you know, it's going to take a few. As it takes not just one property that you send, it'll probably be a few, you know. So I'll give you, you know, we'll get your referral fee, you know, we'll get you $1,000 or something, you know. And so anyways, yeah, that's I think inspiring for people, you know.
That is awesome. I've never heard of anyone networking with Uber drivers. That's like pretty amazing. Well, tell us about like, what is your business model today? And are you partnering with Tom Gilbert still? Are the two of you guys partners? Yeah, and we've had him on the podcast. Yeah. So you two work together. What are you doing to bring in leads to find that you can wholesale out to other people?
Yeah, I partnered with him last year. Was it last year? Yeah, it was like a year, like a year and a half ago. Or it took us a while to get going. I mean, you know, at first we would just meet here in my place, and it was like just like an accountability, you know, thing, you know. And he's super inspiring, you know, for anybody that doesn't, you know, he was on your show, but he was paralyzed 17 years ago. They told him he never walked, never have kids. Now he has 2 kids. Now he walks. I mean, he's a total stud, you know. He inspires me, you know. I mean, pushes me forward, you know.
Yeah.
And before the podcast, we talked about how he bought his mobile home park and in Indiana. And once it's all done, Once it's all done, it'll cash flow like 30, 40 grand a month. Net.
Oh my
Net.
gosh, that's huge.
I know. I mean, who doesn't want 30 grand a month, net,
I think you're going to lose your partner, dude. I mean, when someone's making 30, 40 grand a month net, they're like, who wants to wholesale anymore?
Know. Hard to get a hold of him now a little bit. No, he's actually traveling the country in his RV with his family, by the way. And
yeah, I remember talking about that. That's awesome.
They're homeschooling their kids and they're just traveling the country. I think he's in Utah now, or he might be in Illinois now. So, we partnered together, and it's really funny because it just kind of like, I was just pretty much, at that point, I was putting out bandit signs, not me, I was paying somebody to put out bandit signs. So we joined, Tom said, why don't we, let's partner. I said, okay, great. So we split the cost. We're paying somebody to put out bandit signs, and that kind of dried up on the vine. We're spending money, it's, it's kind of, you have to be, you have to spend some coin on that. I think, really people are kind of sort of immune, I think, to bandit signs, somewhat here. I think it's a little bit tougher here, I think.
I call on them and say, put me on your buyers list.
Right.
But yeah, I've never called with a house to sell. That's for sure.
Right. We'd get buyers calling. So we get buyers calling, a few sellers, but we get buyers. So we stopped that. And then I was calling agents. I just had a list of agents that I had gotten from, I think I got access to the MLS at that point. And then I just downloaded, lists of agents, and I was just calling them. I'd just be calling them, randomly or whatever, and I'd get a deal here or there. But then I partnered with Tom, and then last year he brought, I more formally partnered with him. He's like, hey, I'm getting Podio. I got a VA. He hadn't had a VA yet, then he got a VA, virtual assistant.
Yeah.
And then for those that don't know, and then this guy in Bangladesh, we pay him $450 an hour and you get the VAs through Upwork, UPWRK.com. And then, and so he brought the VA, and then I just started sending the list to the VA and say, here, start text blasting agents. Here's the list. Here's their number. Just start texting them. And we were doing it through Vumber, like one at a time. Like he would do it one at a time because Podio was still not, we didn't know how to do the text blast. And then, because that's like a third-party vendor that you get through Podio called ClickSend, I think. And you pay like a little bit more for that. Tom handled all that, hurts my brain, so he handled all that. And, but we started doing just the one at a time. It would take our VA like to do 100, like an hour, and so, but that's fine. It would take him all day to text 500 agents. So he works like 5-6 hours a day. And, but since January, because we started doing it, I think in like November, I think of last year. And then since January of now, we've done a deal every month and made like about $5 grand. I mean, we're splitting the deals, he and I. So we make it about 10 grand a deal. And then on average, more or less. And then we're each getting about $5 grand.
Nice.
I know, right? I know. And we're going to ramp it up. I mean, that's just like, we're not even scratching the surface,
Right. You're still in your kind of early ramping up stages, figuring out the system. I have to interject here because I just got a call an hour ago from some guy. I almost didn't answer the phone because it said the caller was anonymous. That was the name. It wasn't even scam likely, which I get those calls, which is telemarketing. Like, I want to talk to Mr. Anonymous. Let's see who this is. And it was a guy. It was clearly a VA, heavy accent, but I was excited. Like, he's like, oh, hello. I wanted to ask if you buy houses to flip. Why, yes, I do. And he asked me all these questions and multiple times. I said, I'm sorry, can you repeat that? He probably thought, this is the most polite, eager person I've ever talked to. But like, yes, VAs call me. I don't care how good your English is. Get me on your list because I want to buy more houses.
Yes.
So it was great. I was so excited here. Was it your guy? Was this a whole setup?
No. Well, we don't have, no, but we're going to get, that's the model that we're going to follow. I mean, it's no secret, but it's like, you have to pay more for those VAs that speak the English, the good English, like $8-9 an hour, according to Matt Larson, for example, in the mastermind that me and Ryan are in. And, you know, that's next level, you know, but, you know, the people that don't speak as well good English, you know, like $4 or $5 an hour, you know.
Yeah, this guy should have been at that range. I don't know what they're charging, but yeah, multiple times. But I'm like, yes, bring me houses.
He should have been 4 or 5 an hour.
Yeah, yeah. We had to ask multiple times, what word is that? Oh, counties. What counties do I buy? He was doing his best to read a script, but
Oh, poor guy.
you know, guys, I mean, buyers like me, we don't care. I mean, we just want to buy houses. So yeah, put me on your list and I'll deal with the accent, no problem.
Send me your deals. I must say though, I did get off the phone. I hurried this agent because we just deal with agents. And poor guy, I couldn't understand what he was saying. I was like, you know what? Just email me those deals. He never emailed me, but his accent was just too, you know, he was like, I think a Chinese guy. Maybe,
Yeah.
I think he was a Chinese guy. And that was you know, poor guy, you know, you have to speak some English, you know, but no, our guy doesn't speak good enough English. It's broken English, you know, kind of.
Yeah.
He can communicate, but you know, I wouldn't have him call anybody because yeah, they would just get, you know, I guess kind of think about it. I don't know, maybe it is good enough, but his English is kind of like broken anyways, but he just text blasts. And you know, we haven't even scratched the surface. We're just like I was saying, we're only texting like we finally got the Podio text blast working, although it was down yesterday. So there's some glitches, but I mean, like, we're just like trying to, I can see it. I can project it out. And I see, okay, so many texts. We'll get so many texts going out. We'll get so many leads. Eventually, I'll replace myself, put a VA, you know, to do it that speaks good enough English. We have a guy in LA. We have like an acquisitions guy in LA that's, you know, helping us. And then it's me and Tom, you know. And I mean, I'm more the operational side, you know, and then Tom handles more like Podio and stuff like that, and you know, other duties, you know, kind of the backside. And but he's also involved, you know, in making offers on the MLS and things like that. We're starting to make offers on the MLS, and I have faith for that again, you know. I shied away for a couple of years, but now I'm like, hey, let's do it, you know. Let's just start making offers, you know. Boom, you'll get lucky.
Well, I would love to interject. I bought for sure one house and maybe two in the last year where they just took a 10% discount off their asking. And they were fixers, already kind of low priced, with like no fight. I'm like, you knocked your price from $525 to $470 like that. Like, well, maybe I offered too much, you know, and it was through an agent. But I think we're going to see more of that, certainly in Southern California in the last month or two. The market has become what they call balanced. It's not such a seller's market anymore. It's leaning towards a buyer's market. The sellers are going to have to come down. And I think it might be starting to hit that way across the whole country now. And we're recording this in early August of 2018, listeners, in case you're wondering.
Yeah.
So maybe the MLS is going to be more of an opportunity for people where it wasn't so much before.
Hallelujah. Bring it on, you know, because it's like, oof. If I see another highest and best, I don't even, if it's a highest and best, I can forget it. You know what? That was my highest and best, you know, but
yeah,
but yeah, I actually started at the bottom. You know, I always say this is hilarious. I remember in 2010, you know, I was a guppy. I was a single cell amoeba at that point. I didn't even know what I was doing. I misunderstood using $1 earnest money for MLS properties instead of for FSBOs. I didn't. That kind of escaped me, but I got a property under contract off the MLS for $1 back in 2010.
So good for you. See, sometimes ignorance is bliss. Like, if you don't know any better, you might just go make something happen when someone else is like, you can't do that. It's 3% of the purchase price, not $1, you know?
Yeah, exactly. They were giving them away back then, right? They were. So it's interesting you say that, because I've been curious, and I actually feel kind of that way too. You know, I've kind of sort of been a little shy about like saying that, you know, but it just, to me, seems like this is unsustainable, you know, like it's like crazy, you know, this market here, you know, like it's been such a like a party, you know, like a out of control party, that the party always ends. It doesn't go on forever, you know. I mean, that's just logic, right? But that's interesting you say that. I welcome that. I welcome that change.
You do as a wholesaler, but me as a flipper, I like people fighting it out at the high, when we turn around to resell. But I mean, just a couple of weeks ago, I put a home on the market in Lakewood, which is near Long Beach. It's in Los Angeles County.
Yeah.
I listed it where I thought it should sell at 650. I said no showings for the first week and everyone come to the open house. That's one of my special strategies I use to sell, to build up lots of interest, push everyone through at the same time. And they're like, oh my gosh, look at all these people here. This is going to be a hot demand house. People begged me to get in early. I let one and they gave me 30 grand over asking for me to not show it at the open house, not make it a more competitive highest and best. And I sold it. So those might be going away here soon, but maybe not. Maybe if I'm the only fixed up, beautiful flipped house where I've redone every surface, maybe people are still going to be willing to pay top dollar. It's just, you got to know your market. And you who are talking to realtors, keep asking, what are you guys seeing? What about, what do you see in the market? Are things selling as quickly? So you just got to keep your finger on the pulse.
Yeah, right. I do. I have asked, from time to time, maybe every couple of months, I've been asking, what do you think? I just, since all we do is talk to agents all day. And I'm like, what do you think? I have heard consistently for the past few months, I have heard, them say, agents, that they think that the market is turning, they think, and things, like certain parts of Southern California, because we get leads from all over Southern California, Inland Empire, Orange County, LA, San Diego, high desert. We don't do deals out in the high desert right now, but we will eventually here pretty soon. And they all consistently say to a person that things are maybe, changing, they think, and in some areas taking longer days on market,
Definitely. I see that. Yeah.
Okay. So you do, that's interesting. By the way, do you only, so you flip, and you told me, forgive me, you flip, I think, and you do, what else you said?
Well, I'm a regular retail realtor in addition to being a flipper. So I like to buy from agents and wholesalers, and then I relist them myself. But I got and resold over 100 deals from realtors, and I let them relist. They brought it to me, I bought from them, and I relisted with them back when the margins were so much fatter. Now margins are skinnier. I'll tell them, hey, I'll still buy with you. You represent me on the buy, and then I'll relist it. And they're okay with that. I'm like the easiest buyer ever, because there's no home inspection. There's no request for repairs. There's no termite. There's no home warranty. I look like the perfect buyer to the seller. The agent does no work. I just bought one here. I'm kind of taking over the show here, but I bought one in Irvine, California, where the agent spent a total of maybe hour and a half with me. She's like, oh, I know about this pocket listing. Let's go check it out. And I was excited to meet her face to face and go with her, even though I didn't have to, because I had a realtor key, because I want her to bring me more deals. And she's been trying. She sent me a few opportunities, but literally 90 minutes of her time, we went and looked at it. I said, yes, I want it. That was it. She didn't have to show up. She didn't show me lots of houses. She didn't show up to home inspections, and the purchase price was $910,000. So she made almost, 25 grand, depending on her split, for an hour and a half of work with me, and then her assistant doing some paperwork. So, I mean, talk about a sweet deal for that agent. It's a great, but hey, it's an opportunity for me too. I wouldn't have bought it if it weren't a good deal. Just like we've had conversations, not on the podcast, that I want everyone to make money and be happy and bring me more deals. So Tony, sell me some stuff.
Yeah, and I was just thinking how I didn't fully explain what we're doing in that. So basically, I partnered with Tom, and then we're doing exclusively pocket listings right now. Although we're offering as well on listed deals now, and we're just throwing offers out there. We're like, let's do it. Boom. Here's our formula. You have to make 25, 30 offers to get a deal, more or less, on that. But so we text blast agents that I download from the MLS and give it to our VA, and then he texts them, and then I have a script, and then which I will give to you, by the way, and you can make available to your listeners.
Yeah.
And that we use, that they can say to the agents, kind of what to say to them, speak their language. And we just text blast, like say 500 at a time, and we'll get about a 15% response rate, 17% sometimes. So, we'll get maybe like 60, 70 responses. And of those, out of those, maybe we'll have like 4 or 5 leads, like properties, pocket listings. And then we will, of those, maybe 1 will work, 1 or 2 will work. The others were too far apart. We'll offer on them, but we're $100,000 apart. They're like,
and you follow up because things
Yeah.
change, and suddenly sellers might have a very, very big life change, circumstance change. Someone dies, and we talked about that, or something happens, and then
Right.
suddenly, where's my buyer? I need to sell now, whatever. Let's do it. So
Right.
yeah, it's good for the VA to follow up, not necessarily you.
Right.
Yeah, things can happen.
That's the thing is, see, we need a VA I am working the VA into, well, yes, follow up when we do our initial text blast, and him to go in and follow up just people that don't have a deal. But, it's just a positive response. No, I don't have anything. I'll let you know type thing, or any other questions like what areas, what price range, do you buy? And then I have like these scripts for him to use to just respond with my VUMBR number. And, I tell him, give him, the permission, just respond to them with these scripts, with each appropriate script, to get back to them. Because it's so many, it's like you get overwhelmed. And so that's a way to go faster and to leverage and to do more through a virtual assistant. And I can see, like I was saying, projecting it out, how we can grow, we can scale it by getting, having more text blasts, having more VAs, and things like that. We'll just get more lead flow, more deals. And we do work with this buyer, as I was telling you, we've worked with this buyer, this national buyer, and we send them our leads, and that we get in, because we're pretty much like lead managers at this point. We're like pretty much acquisitions lead managers. We start the relationship with the agent. I have a script, like I said, that I'll make available to your listeners, and what to tell them and how to talk to them. They have their own language, as being an agent, and you have to speak their language and not be disrespectful or be, there's a lot of ignorance and, lack of education when it comes to agents, like a lot of gurus and, that teach wholesaling and things like that. They just want to focus on for sale by owners. They're ignoring half the market, half the market, if not more. Probably even here it's more like 60%, I wouldn't doubt, in Southern California, because people are aware that prices are high. Most people that are, have any kind of understanding, they understand that things are to the roof, so, you have to speak their language. So we talk to these agents. We have this one buyer, that, as I was telling you, and we send them our leads, and then that's how we've been doing a deal a month since January. And I've sent you a few leads, like we were talking, because we don't want to put all our eggs in one basket either. And sometimes leads that don't work for them either, they, sometimes they'll pass on certain leads, and it works for one buyer, doesn't work for the other. But yeah, we definitely want to do deals with you, and that's why we'll keep sending you leads. I know I just sent you that last one, but that one was, it didn't have ocean views, that one, like the Wholesale that it did.
Oh yeah, not so good.
Right. But that's been our model. And I mean, this national buyer, our vision is to ramp up to where they are in their markets. They're in 17 different markets nationally.
Yeah.
And so we don't go see the property. We don't put earnest money down. With agent deals, you have, as you have to move, especially here in California, you have to move like super fast. This is no messing around. Where's the earnest money? By the time the ink is dry on the purchase agreement, the agent's like, where's the earnest money? It's like, we have 2 days, but it's like, that doesn't work that way. You have to put it in like immediately.
Yeah, or they start freaking out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, hey, are you a real buyer? If you're a real buyer, then, you put the earnest money down, and which is minimum $5,000 here in Southern California. Minimum, usually 1% of, I mean, it's not even, yeah, usually ours, you know, like standard with our buyers, like 1%, maybe a purchase price. But like they put the earnest money down, you know what I mean? And then we don't even put it, you know, we don't, rarely do we put it under contract ourselves. So we just pass the lead to them, and we kind of baby that deal through as well with the agent, you know, and keep that relationship going. You know, we do the deal, it closes, and then we follow up with the agent. And by the way, you're right, that the money is in the follow-up. That's one of the things from the mastermind I just learned. The money is in the follow-up. And I keep hearing it's usually on the third, fifth contact with the seller or agent that, you know, you'll get the deal, you know. So I need to get better about that myself. I'm working on that.
Yeah.
It's kind of a hole in our business right now. So
Mm-hmm.
note to self,
You can do all kinds of automated things through Podio, between automated text, have someone do, because there's a guy that was at Flip Hacking Live almost 2 years ago, Doug Van Soest. He was one of my early podcast guests, but he didn't talk about this. I think a third of his deals are from his follow-up system he has in Podio. So yeah, definitely opportunity there.
Yeah, totally. You know what? I'm writing that down actually, because so through Podio you can obviously I'm still learning about Podio, and yeah, you can just actually, you know, my buddy Ryan said that too. You can just schedule your text blast.
Yes, and through either that or an affiliated connected program, he does auto emails, auto texts, and like personal calls, but I don't know that it's him that does the personal call. But you know, he just hits them with all these different things. Hey, just checking in. Let us know if you want to sell. Hey, we're still here, just in case you want to sell. Like, he's very nice about it. But you know, some then people will be like, oh, that stupid renter. Yeah, I'm done. Let me unload this stupid rental property. I'm done. Doug, buy it. You know, so if you're in the right place at the right time, you could be the lucky winner. Yeah.
You're right. It's like, and his name sounds familiar. But you're right. It's like you just happen to call at that time, and it's like, you know what, we're like, for us with the agents, you know, my buyer's backing out. You know, I called at the perfect time. We have 2 deals like that this weekend in San Diego, where the buyer is backing out on both deals.
Yay!
And yeah, and really, it was my buyer that was following up on that here, my buyer contact here, who is the one who approached me and said, hey, send me your deals. You know, this is a couple of years ago. He's like, hey, send me. He saw me in my RIA. He knew I was doing deals, you know, and he knew I was partially sighted, you know. He's like, hey, why don't you send me your deals and I'll get you your fee or as close as I can to it, you know. And I was like, all right, you're on, man. Let's do it, you know. Just like with Tom, you know, he told me, hey, let's partner together and let's do deals. And I resisted for a while because I was kind of like, you know, I'm like, I'm doing my own thing, man, you know. Thank you though. Thank you very much. But, you know, it kind of arm's length, you know?
Yeah.
And finally I was like, you know what, let's do it. Let's, you know, and I've been doing consistent deals and it's been good. Leveraging is so important with other people. You know, you can't do it all yourself. It's just like the whole, as you know, the whole, you know, like you say, you love wholesalers, you have people bring you deals, you know, and then you have a team of people to work with, you know, to do. I think most wholesalers will fail because they, you know, like they just, you know, they don't create enough momentum to like get enough leads coming in.
Yeah.
That's like the whole thing, is to get enough leads coming in, you know, and then get it. You have to get a bunch of leads, you know, because most of them are not going to work, you know, most of them, you know, and then staying on top of it. And then maybe like they're working their job, they're doing and they're tired and I get it. You know, it's like most fail, you know, most are gonna, you know, but you know, I failed. And I was like, I'm like, you know, I couldn't look at my friends in the face, you know, myself, you know, in the mirror, my wife, like if I just gave up, you know, I was like, I can't give up, you know, I got nothing else. This is it.
And you did it. Yay. I'm so happy for you. That's awesome. 31 deals. That's awesome. Well, we need to wrap up here. So wanted to let our listeners know, you guys, Tony is very generously, for a free download this week, giving us his script that he has used to get deals, talking to realtors about their pocket listings. So we're going to have that up available on our downloads page. And if you're not already getting our emails with all of our awesome free downloads, make sure you get that. You can either go to hardhatholly.com, and this is show number 103. So you can go hardhatholly.com/103. Or if you prefer, you can just text to the number 38470. That's 38470. Text hard hat, all one word, no space, hard hat to 38470. And we'll send you weekly notifications of our new podcasts up, and you can get those free downloads too. So really appreciate all your time today, Tony. How do people get in touch with you? Maybe they want to work with you, do some business with you. So if they're in the Southern California area, for sure they'll want to connect with you. What is the best way for people to connect with you?
They can call me directly at my cell phone, 619-500-3407. It's 619-500-3407. Or they can email me at tonybuyshomes@gmail.com. So TonyBuysHomes@gmail.com.
Fantastic. That's a good email address. Easy to remember. TonyBuysHomes@gmail.com, and he'll buy yours and then sell it to me.
Exactly.
Cool.
This went by kind of fast.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for sharing all of your background, your story, your failures, your wins, your successes. You've been awesome. So thanks so much for joining us. And what's your final last parting words of advice or encouragement that you might want to give to somebody out there who's maybe just getting started or thinking of getting in?
You know, I would say that just to, you're very courageous for entering this business. And I mean, truly, if I can do it, anyone can do it. Don't give up when the time gets tough, and it will get tough. Always try to bring that emotion back, that excitement when you started it and got your education, and you're just like roared up, you're just like totally on it and on fire. So when those difficult moments come, just try to get that emotion again by taking massive action. Get massive action every day, and create enough lead flow coming in so that you can, that's how you're going to do it. Enough lead flow. And if you can get a virtual assistant, get a virtual assistant, get a VA. That's probably right there a game changer. So just stay encouraged, and it's good to talk to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tony. Listeners, get out there, take that massive action. And if you don't already have one, get a VA. Famous last words from Tony there. All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, Holly. You're awesome.
Hey there. Thanks for watching the video. Make sure you like it and click subscribe to get notified of more videos. And you can go to hardhatholly.com for a free download on secrets to finding great deals.